So, good morning. Let us discuss about the 21st December 2015 newspaper. So, let us discuss about the rights, child rights, and also how the rights are getting undermined in India with regard to the recent amendments introduced to various laws. Now, this article is mostly critical about the recent amendments brought into Haryana Panchayat Law, a Right to Education and Juvenile Justice Amendment Act. So, in this context, Haryana Panchayat Law, it provides for minimal educational conditions and also financial repayments or else the payments to the cooperative societies and electricity boards of the state, and sanitation or having a functional toilet in the house as the conditions towards bringing in or an ability for an individual to contest in the panchayat elections. So in this context, many of the marginalized sections who did not have the formal education to an extent of 68% of scheduled caste women and 41% of the scheduled caste men are being kept out of the election race. Now, the Constitution Assembly of India also has considered this, but irrespective of the educational qualifications, gender or race or caste, it wanted to give everyone's right to contest the elections and represent the people. So in this context, this new qualification requirements are essentially reducing one's choice or chance to empower and to represent his people. And next is Right to Education Act. So there are three important components to Right to Education Act. One is related to the admission into age appropriate class, continuous and comprehensive evaluation. The third one is no detention policy. So this no detention policy leads the child to study in a stress-free environment. Continuous and comprehensive evaluation, it provides for an individualistic plan from the teacher to the education of the child. So in this context, the gross enrollment ratios in the schools have increased, and it is very happy to observe that it is almost 100% with regard to the girls from the scheduled caste. So this positive environment created in the country due to Right to Education Act may get disturbed because of the few amendments that are suggested in Rajasthan and Delhi. So the poor learning outcomes, these are blamed to the automatic promotion of the child into the higher classes, that is no detention policy. So in this context, what the proposal is to decrease the burden after the 9th class by promoting the people with poor learning outcomes. So they have to be kept in the class or else the whole system has to be revived. Here the attitude is to see the knowledge as a finished product. Knowledge is not a finished product, it is just a means. So organizing into grades, classes, competition and ranks, it shows a tendency of authority exercised by the student on the student by the society. So it creates a stress and also it leads to the dropout of many children from the schools. The stress-free education, it talks about providing for continuous and comprehensive evaluation. So that's also a reductionist. And juvenile justice amendment. So with regard to this, any child who is involved with a heinous crime between 16 to 18 years of age, he will be considered as an adult and will be punished as an adult. Here, there is a major deviation from the purpose of the juvenile rehabilitation. So in this context, the evidence proves that a juvenile is mostly committing a crime because of poverty, neglect and abuse. So it goes against the evidence that the maturity of the child to understand the consequences while committing a crime is very less. In spite of this, the government wants to move forward. And on the other hand, the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act and amendment to this, it prohibits the child labor in all its forms up to 14 years other than a familial business, from 14 to 18 years in the hazardous industries. Here the definition of the hazardous industries listed are reduced from 83 to 3, and less than 14 years the exception provided for the family business it can become a loophole for the ineffective implementation of the law. If observed in India, most of the children are employed by their own family members due to the poverty and other reasons. So all these three laws, one way or the other way, they are connected to each other. So one is lack of education and involvement of a child in the labor work is going to prohibit him from the contest in elections when he becomes an adult. And also it increases his propensity to involve with crime because of the neglect. So under these circumstances, our society in the future will be judged based on how we are going to take a course on these particular events. The next is Juvenile Justice Act. So there is a beautiful statement which is given over here in the first lines. So any society or any mature justice system shall not overturn the justice to the popular behavior or emotion of the society. So in this context, yes, all the sympathies lie with Nirbhaya, but however, there are juvenile justice, the purpose of the juvenile justice is defined across the world. It is rehabilitation, reintegration into the society and reformation of the child. It is not retribution. And second, the judicial waiver are considering the child as an adult, that is, who is less than 18 years and greater than 16 years as an adult, itself did not provide with the positive results on overall reduction in crime. Actually, it has radicalized and increased the criminal sense in the child because he is being placed along with the adults and he is learning like an adult. So he is learning from the adult criminals. The criminality of the child is increasing and he is pulled back into the crime. So it is not good for the society in the long run. So here the suggestion is the child, the justice or juvenile justice boards and also the welfare measures to these children have to be increased so that they can understand their mistake and get reintegrated into the society. Next, 1977 moment of the Congress. Now you know, after the emergency in 1977, for the first time Congress lost the power at the center. Now in this context, the Janata government which has come into power, which has Chaudhary Charan Singh and Babu Jagjeevan Ram and Morarji Desai as the three major figures, it has its own challenges and problems. And everyone are working to their self-interest and the Janata experiment failed very soon. But in the process, there are few things which have led to the revival of the Congress and Indira Gandhi to the forefront. One is Belchi incident, where few Dalits were hanged to death by the upper caste. So then Indira Gandhi was the first person to reach to that place in Bihar, and it has got a wide fame in the media. And next is arrest of Indira Gandhi. It led to the outpouring of sympathy to her. These two events have rechanged, or these two events have redefined the Congress, and it has led to ultimate revival of the Indira Gandhi in the next elections. Now, National Herald case, where Indira Gandhi and the Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi were the major partners with Young India, which is owned by the, or which has owned the previous Associated Journals Limited, is under the legal scrutiny now. So in this context, Congress wants to gain a political mileage out of it. But it shows that the environment is very different now. So in those days, what is the major communication to the people is print media. But today, there are alternative medias which are well developed. So the Congress has to revive through a process of a grand comprehensive vision to the country and also connecting itself with the young voters. So that is the need of the hour for the political party. Coming to the Nairobi package of India. So what are the interests of India? It wanted to take forward the Doha development agenda, and it wanted to protect the interests of the farmers through special safeguard mechanisms, and also our food security towards food stock holding, promoting the food stock holding. So the developed countries did not agree to reduce the subsidies which they give to their farmers, and there are no special benefits or relaxations were given to developing countries to protect their farmers. So the special safeguard mechanisms which provides an opportunity for the developing countries to raise the tariffs to avoid from falling prices that can hurt their farmers are not accepted. And the food stock holding, it is very much crucial for implementation of India's National Food Security Act, even it was not taken forward. On the other hand, the new issues which are of interest to the developed countries, they have got the first mention with regard to the Nairobi summit. What are these issues include? The environment, labor laws, and e-commerce related global value chains, etc., investments, etc. So these are majorly, going to get a major focus in the future. So that's why the lack of reaffirmation in Doha Development Agenda was highly disappointed, according to the Commerce Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. And with regard to police reforms, Prime Minister Modi has made certain remarkable observations. So the major gap between the police and the public is lack of communication. So in this context, the police side of the story need to be explained to the people. So Prime Minister calls the police to be more media savvy and informative to the public by using the social media platforms. And also police has to engage with the citizens through social work, either teaching and involving with the polio drops and other developmental work. And finally, bringing in the competitive spirit in the working of the police stations, that is grading of police stations, providing for better promotions based on merit. All these things were discussed by the Prime Minister. Now, the Gadgil takes the Green Crusade to the Wikipedia. So now this is about constructive media or constructive use of web interfaces. Generally, we saw the social media and criticism recently in the newspapers. Now, Professor Gadgil has given a report on protection of the Western Ghats. But Maharashtra government did not take it forward. So, in this context, what is happening in the Western Ghats, how the ecosystem is getting damaged because of sand mining, stone mining, deforestation, all these things will be put to the public and exposed to the public through use of Wikipedia, which is a constructive way of functioning of the civil society in social media. And finally, the defamation. So the criminal defamation, it is very much in the news. The section 499 and 500, they specifically talk about this criminal defamation. Across the world, the defamation is a civil suit that involves certain fines, but in India, it is a criminal offense. So, political leaders resorting to defamation for or else is obstructing the free speech of the individuals in the country. So that's what is the major criticism. And the second thing is, it is between two private individuals, and any act which is taken as criminal, the state will take the responsibility, and state considers something criminal as an offense on the society. So, when an issue is between two individuals, generally it is considered as a civil offense. So here, the criminal, considering it as a criminal defamation, is all about state involving between two private individuals. So here, it is restricting the freedom of speech. So the demand is to convert the defamation from criminal offense to civil offense. So that again comes into the news because of this Arun Jaitley threatening the Kejriwal for defamation. So this is about today's newspaper. And today I have two classes at Vajiram. So I just finished those classes, and I want to give what are the questions I have asked in mentorship and what are the topics I have covered in my notes and how the questions appeared. I want to just make one comparison sheet to that, and so that you get some confidence in doing this exercise regularly. And I can assure you that if you follow this exercise regularly, it can give you definitely edge over the others. And thank you very much. I am really motivated by your concerns and also your words, and it helps me to keep work. Thank you very much again.